You gotta know a day. Today we're going to talk about nitrogen. It comprises 78% of the Earth's atmosphere. Oxygen is mostly the crust of the Earth, but nitrogen is mostly the atmosphere. 78% of the air, that's the air you breathe. It was first isolated by Daniel Rutherford. This is not Ernest Rutherford, the gold-foiled guy. This is Daniel Rutherford. They're not related. He isolated it by essentially first he killed a mouse in a jar like this. Then, same jar, burned a candle, and then it got snuffed out. And then he burned phosphorus, and it got snuffed out. And then he ran that all in a way to remove all the CO2. So he had isolated nitrogen. He didn't know he'd isolated nitrogen, but he had isolated it. He called it noxious air because nothing could survive in it if it's just nitrogen. It is super crazy stable. It has a triple bond. It occurs in nature as this diatomic molecule, meaning there are two ends together in nature. However, nitrogen, it's in the atmosphere. It is not crazy useful for us because it's just N2. So in order for it to be useful for us, we need it for amino acids. We need it to make our DNA and RNA. We need it in a useful form, so it must be fixed. With nitrogen fixation, that N2 gas in legumes, it's going to be the bacteria in the roots of legumes are going to convert that nitrogen gas into ammonium, which our bodies can use, that NH4. We do this in a lab by taking N2 from the environment and then getting out NH3 through something called the Haberbosch process. It's used in agriculture. It's super useful because there's lots and lots of nitrogen in the air, and we need it for biological systems again. It is so stable that it'll actually stop combustion. That's part of what Rutherford used in his experiments. So if you don't want combustion reactions, like explosions, to occur, you can use nitrogen gas. And it is wildly cold. It has a really, really low boiling point. So because of that, it is used to store things at a really cold thing, and do really neat experiments like this where you make balloons get really, really small because they're crazy cold. It's also used to store cells. If you do IVF, or if you need to save cells for an indefinite amount of time, you are going to use liquid nitrogen. It's so stable. It is so cold. That is nitrogen.